The reason I didn't say anything is because the test came back negative for now, and so for now, there's not a reason to be as concerned anyway. And I didn't want my family be to have to feel lost before it happens, I guess. And I'm not saying that I would be an asshole and just like wait till I was dead for you to find out, but I didn't want to say anything before like it actually occurs. Um, and part of that, I guess, is that I'm already viewed as being very fragile, and I don't want to be more fragile in everybody's eyes. I don't want pity. I don't want um every moment to be have a hint of sadness behind it.
Yeah. Okay, I need some clarification here for a second, honey. I'm sorry. Because I think that was part of that kind of messed me up a little bit. That they did a specific test on a specific area of your body
Yeah,
that
so they did an ultrasound on my aortic artery because if I guess I don't know if it gets inflamed or if it's like a growth or what exactly they look for, but there's something that occurs in the aortic artery, and if it gets too big and it ruptures, you have to get to the hospital like immediately for surgery, or you're done.
or you're done. Yeah. But in my mind, and maybe that's something we need to ask the doctors, that's not your only,
It's the only thing she was worried about.
huh?
I mean, they
Okay.
didn't ask very many questions because it was a lot, but
That's a
she
lot.
that was really all
Yeah.
that she was worried about. And she said that we just keep up on ultrasounds and stuff.
Keep up on ultrasounds. Yeah, that's what I read too, that it's something you kind of want to just really keep a good eye on. But
Which really sucks because that was the most painful ultrasound I've ever had. Like it felt like I got gut punched for like a day and a freaking half.
ooh,
And fair warning, it all the way felt like somebody just uppercutted me in the base of my rib cage. Like went down and then up into my rib cage. Like it it hurt so bad.
oh really? Oh, I guess I thought they would
Oh
have
yeah,
looked on
no,
your
she
neck.
had to put all kinds of pressure, and she told me the reason that they don't let you eat beforehand is because of how hard they have to push.
Wow.
Yeah, would have been great to
Oh,
have that in advance knowledge. So you're welcome, world. It was really unpleasant finding out the hard way.
yikes.
Kicker, I have pain meds that I can take. I didn't think I needed one. They weren't
Yeah.
even on me. They were left at home because I didn't think it was going to be. So, if any doctors watch this, if y'all want to make your patients' experiences a little bit better, try to give them at least some kind of warning about what they're walking into.
What
Because
they're walking
I have
into.
white coat syndrome, and walking into that, I almost had a freaking heart attack. Like, no,
Wow.
you, no, that was not acceptable in my opinion. Like,
Wow.
and they do that all the time with tests. They'll give you minimal information and then they wonder why we freak out when we end up having it happen. But I didn't think I was getting sucker punched in the gut for an ultrasound.
Right. And like I said, I thought they were looking like
No,
on your neck, but
it's down. I'll tilt my screen. So like from here basically to like the belly button area is the area that it ends up happening in most of the time. So that is where they do the ultrasound. So it dug
oh.
into right there, and it really did feel like I was just taking a an uppercut to the rib cage, like under the rib cage. I mean, it
Oh
was it
wow.
was rough, but it's mandatory. I mean, a day and a half of feeling like crap is better than not knowing if something is there. But heads up for people that are getting this test because I didn't know, I wasn't prepared. Now you know, and hopefully you can go prepared. I mean,
Yeah.
it might have been my person too. She said something about her being heavy handed, which is not cool. But
Yeah. Wow.
so
Wow.
And it's because it's in like the center of your body, so they have to like push all the extra crap out of the way to be able to see it, I guess.
Yeah, they got to get in
Something
there.
about like if there's like gas in your stomach, they can't get an image, and that's why you can't drink stuff. Because if you were to like slam a soda and end up with a bunch of bubbles in there, she wouldn't get a clear picture.
Hmm. Wow.
There's multiple reasons, but the main one she said was the puking.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. So what, um, yeah, what do we do with all this information?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really change for me because I've already kind of almost stared death down a couple times. So I've already gone through the emotion a few times, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I don't like to say anything until I know for sure. And one time I went in thinking I had a brain tumor and it wound up being a cyst. Not that it's much better, but I wasn't going to go tell you guys, oh, I might have cancer if I didn't know for sure, because then everybody's fretting for nothing if it's not the case, which it wasn't the case. So, that's why I wait till after the test. And like, I know some people might take offense to it, but at the same time, like 99% of mine have been negative when they've gone in. This is the first one that's like, okay, well, you for sure have the diagnosis, you just don't have the actual thing. Like, I, and that's weird. But I've already gone through the motions of, okay, well, if I do have something that could kill me, then how do I want to live? And so for me, nothing really changed very much, except for that, like, the chances are higher now as an end
Yeah.
result than they were before as an end result. But like, I went through the motions before I got the results. So I had already felt it when they told me the results, if that makes sense. Like all of my stuff where I thought that I might end up dead.
Yeah. So you had been kind of sitting with it quietly on your own,
Yes, no.
trying to.
If I do feel like I need to talk to somebody, I pick the one that I feel like isn't going to be as heavily affected as others. That
Mm,
way I still have someone that I can cry with if I need to, but at least they're not going to fret as hard as other people will.
gotcha.
So it minimizes the pain I'm causing to others.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I can understand that.
And you hear a lot of stories of people with like cancer, for example, that their relatives are like, "Oh my God, why didn't they tell me that?" And now you know why. Because
That's why.
we don't want you to have sad, happy memories for the rest of our lives. We'd rather them just be happy memories and be sad when it's time to be sad.
Mm, good point.
That's really what it is for me.
I actually like that. Yeah. So, so my job, because I know now, and I know that like you're safe now, but I also know it can happen at any time.
Look at it like this. Look at it like a natural disaster. A hurricane can happen on the coast anytime. A tornado can hit
Absolutely.
Oklahoma anytime, and we can get flooded out anytime because of where I live. So
Yep.
look
Yep.
at it like that. Like, and we learn
Yeah.
to live with that stuff every day.
Every day.
All the
Absolutely. I
fires
mean,
Colorado has, and we're still crazy enough to stay here. But we know it's probably going to happen at least once a year because that seems to be the regular now.
'cause that's the regular.
But
Yeah.
it's something that we come to terms with, we accept, and we're not sad about it unless we're driving through a scar on the mountain. We're not sad about it unless it's actively happening.
Yeah. 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 And I've said for a long time, I mean, you know, you could die on your way home from work.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a semi rolling over is how I'm gonna die, so I'm not even really too worried. I felt
Yeah.
that way for a long time. I'm just gonna get
What did you say?
flattened. I'm gonna get flattened by a semi truck. It's gonna roll over and squish me, and that's how I go out. And I felt that way for a very long time. So if it actually happens, it's on video. That's a premonition, okay? If it doesn't happen, I look
Oh,
like an idiot when the time comes. But you know what? I just semi trucks. I There's something about it.
yeah. Well, you don't, I mean, you don't look like an idiot though. That's one of the big things we've also talked about on this show is getting in touch with that, what we consider the mystical side of things and normalize that more.
That's true.
That's, are you cutting off that piece of you that might be telling you something? What do you do with that information? Just file it
Oh, I
away.
don't pass semi trucks while they're turning, that's for sure.
Well, there you go.
Straightaways only, and only if I can fly past them and then slow back down.
Yeah, yeah. On that note, for the record, there's a turn off 85, 87 as you're going into Whitefield over the railroad tracks.
Hmm.
At that light, I have it's not as bad now. I've kind of gotten over it, but for a long, long, long time, I felt like something bad was going to happen to me at that intersection.
Hmm.
I, death, I don't know, but it felt like something like this is the spot. So is that kind of weird? But
I mean, that's how I feel every time a semi passes me. So I'm like, ah, this
yeah,
is how I
yeah,
die.
yeah. So for me, it's like this particular place
Right.
that every time I get up to, I'm like, oh, it almost like it just gives me the shivers. And,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
That's
it
how I
doesn't.
feel every time I pass the semi. So that's another reason that I'm not really gonna let it bother me. Like,